everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Penguin Nonsense. I am your host, Edith, and it's nice to have y'all back for another episode. I know we were a little MIA on our last episode. Was it last episode? Maybe the last episode before that. I can't remember. Maybe we weren't MIA last episode. Anyways, it's just having a lot of stuff to do and whatnot, and so it's been a little rough these couple of months. Sorry if we did miss the last episode or the last episode before that. I can't remember when I need to apologize, but here we are again, another Monday. I hope the start of your week starts off well, and I hope it's a happy Monday for most of y'all. So, as always, thank you for being here, and let's get on to our first story of the day. So this story actually comes from England, and it's about a cliff that started derailing or started to come down, and it goes, beachgoers on the southern coast of England narrowly avoided tragedy when a cliff overlooking the West Bay beach collapsed during dumping tons of rock and boulder the size of cars onto the sand. A spokesperson for the council told British outlet ITV that Solent Coast Guard have made us aware of the landslip, and the West Bay Coast Guard's personnel have concorded off the area, which they expect to remain in place for 6 months. The council dispatched rangers to check the area and make sure that the appropriate signage remained posted around the coastal path. So I saw the video, and there's a video out there, and when y'all see the link to the article on our YouTube page, y'all see it too. But that is crazy. Talk about just having some luck, because you're just out there enjoying the beach, maybe a little too close to the cliffs or whatnot, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this cliff just starts falling. It just starts going down, slipping, rocks start falling, debris starts falling. How scared all of a sudden it just starts to feel it's some dirt. And next thing you know, you look up and you see that this thing is coming down. That just has to be scary. I really can't even fathom to even know what it would be like to just be there, and then all of a sudden you look up and all of a sudden this mountain is cliff is falling on you, That's gotta be really scary. But thankfully nobody was hurt. Everybody was able to get out in time and that kind of stuff. They're taking all the precautions on this, the top of the cliff and at the bottom of the cliff, to make sure that they don't have people too close to it and that kind of stuff, until everything can get taken care of and nature does its thing and whatnot. And so just, if you're in England, be careful, whatever you're doing, and just people stay safe, because even here in the US, I know there's a lot of mountains that we have, especially here in North Carolina, that people go to and hike and all that kind of stuff. Always be careful, look out on your surroundings. If something says to not trespass and that kind of stuff, don't do it. It's there for a reason, guys. And I don't understand. I never understood the whole thing of let's jeopardize our lives, and maybe we might live, we might not. I don't get it. If there's a sign for a reason. So just be careful out there, especially with all this. Sometimes we get a lot of rain, sometimes we don't get it, but that kind of stuff, because you never know. Mother Nature does its thing, and we're just kind of here for it. So definitely stay aware of your surroundings, guys. On to our next story. This story was pulled from Reddit, and this time it was not pulled from the Am I the A-hole forum subreddit. It was pulled from the Entitled People subreddit. And this is my first time in the subreddit. I hadn't come across it before yet, so I thought it would be interesting. And this one's actually a more of a story for something that happened a long time ago. And I just was like, I know there's people out there like this, but it hits a nerve in my head, and I'm like, I can't believe there is humans out there like this. So I wanted to read it with y'all, share this little story, and we'll all decide whether these people just gotta stop, man. So, horrible couple has zero class in a bad situation is the title. It reads, I just happened to come across this up not so long ago, and it reminded me of an experience I had years ago. It stuck in my mind so far for many years, not so much because of what the request was, but more so for the circumstances around it. I was living in Newfoundland, Canada, and I had just graduated high school in 2001. The following fall, I went to the university and was spending some time in the student lounge with a few classmates. One of the guys started yelling at the TV in the corner and calling out to anybody around to come close. It was the first plane crash for 9/11. Over the next few days, St. John's and Gander, Newfoundland became a haven for passengers who were stranded with their flights while their flights were grounded. Some of you might have heard of the Broadway show Come From Away. My old high school was turned into an emergency shelter for multiple flights. The classrooms, theater, gym, and cafeteria were all set up and received hundreds of people. If you ever met a Newfoundlander, we are generally considered pretty generous and welcoming people. When the call out for volunteers happened, my high school had almost as many volunteers as there were stranded passengers. I was one of those willing to help. Despite the horrible reasons for the gathering, I had a lot of fun. Got to play some chess with Eastern Orthodox gem traders, chatted about French cuisine with Parisian chef, watched the news in the theater with people from all over the world. Almost everyone was very appreciative. We all bent over backwards to make sure everyone had everything they needed. It was a tough situation, but we were trying to make the best out of it. Almost. This one American couple from Alabama has started making trouble for whichever volunteer they could encounter. The coats and blankets we had provided weren't good enough for them. They demanded their own room, and when we couldn't accommodate, they insisted we pay for a hotel for them. The free food we had offered wasn't good enough, and they would grab a box, open it, and immediately throw it in the trash. I was there for quite a few hours, and after lunch I decided to pop outside for a bad habit. I've been a smoker for a while, early days back then. I'm trying to quit now. Mrs. Alabama catches my eye outside the school and struts up to me demanding a cigarette. I'm pretty easygoing about it, and I offer her two, one for her later. She lights one up, drops them both on the ground, and steps on them. I'm a little shocked, but even more so when she looked at me and says, "Listen here, buddy. You aren't leaving here today unless you find me a pack of menthols." I laughed at her and told her that there's a corner store down the street. Nerve of some people. Can't tell if this was entitled, a choosing beggar, but likely both. And that was the end of that story. And everybody's like, as a national tragedy, I can't believe there was people out there acting like this. Like, they have no shame, and it was all kind of like these people of just being like, how dare they, that kind of stuff. You're in this situation, why are you doing it? And I was like, yeah, you're not wrong. I honestly agree with the comments. Like, I know there's a story from so long ago. Well, the story is new. Like, they just got posted not too long ago, like a couple of days ago. But well, it's not an accident, but the tragedy that happened so long ago that, maybe it does us no good to talk about it. But just to know that there's people out there who can have such a terrible attitude when stuff is already bad for everybody. Why are you going to make it worse? And these people were just out there trying to help these people out, and I feel like they did not cooperate at all. Like, why are you feeling entitled? Like, they don't owe you anything. For all they could is they could be a bad country and say, we ain't helping them, like, screw them. And they weren't. They decided to help and that kind of stuff. And I did hear that musical Come From Away, and I really wanted to see it at one point. So, like, I've heard of these, like, other countries who had to, like, who not had to, but, like, they went and they helped, like, any people who were coming to the U.S. who now had to be staying outside of the U.S. because they couldn't come in and that kind of stuff because of what was happening during 9/11. So I'm glad there was these people out there, but man, the entitlement of some people, how can it is beyond my understanding why people can be this mean, this just people who feel like they deserve anything and it has to be their way or no one else is getting it. Like, why do you have to be like that? I don't get it. And I feel like a lot of y'all will feel the same way, or maybe y'all won't. Maybe you feel like they were entitled to get all this stuff. And if you do feel that way, we need a reality check here. Because no, I don't feel like these people had any right to ask for any of the stuff that they asked for. So, that's where I leave that comment at. I hope these people grew as persons and got better. I really, really hope so. But I doubt it was an entitled person. Most of the time will always be an entitled person. So I always say beggars can't be choosers, and these people were definitely choosers and, well, being beggars. So I don't know. On to our next story of the day, because that was some people. I can't even with them. If you have any stories of, like, people who you felt that they've been entitled people to a show, I would like to hear them. Just put them in the comments. On to our happy story of the week. So, as a lot of y'all know, there's, like, a whole strike going on for, like, writers and stuff for, like, movies and whatnot in LA. So there has been, like, a whole thing about it and whatnot. But I saw an article today that I was like, that's actually kind of neat that people are out here doing this kind of stuff. So the title reads, "This food bank is feeding striking actors and writers for free. Several people broke down yesterday." So it reads, "There were people today who had tears in their eyes. They couldn't believe how generous this was," says actor Christina Wong. A food bank of Venice Boulevard in Los Angeles, California, is showing solidarity with striking actors and writers by feeding them for free. It's been a little over a week since the members of SAG-AFTRA announced in July 13 press conference that its members were going on strike. The union, which includes actors, recording artists, radio personalities, and other media professionals, joined the WGA, which has been on strike since May 2nd, putting a pause on the earning potentials of almost 200,000 entertainment professionals into a real solution is met. So, on July 16, actor, comedian, writer, self-described food bank influencer Christina Wong posted an announcement on Instagram that garnered a lot of attention. In the post, Wong said, describes a deal that she And Glenn Corrado, CEO and founder of Food Bank World Harbors, came up with together in response to the first joint walkout of these two labor unions since 1960. The post went, "Free groceries for SAG-AFTRA actors and WGA writers into the end of the strike." One wrote in the post's caption, "This is totally real offer to get our union siblings through this historic fight for our livelihoods." One instructs people interested to come through and affectionately name Uncle Glenn Corrado will provide them with a cart of groceries worth over $300. All they need to do is show up Monday through Saturday and show their staff their SAG-AFTRA or WGA card. You'll receive a cart of fresh produce and other staples you need to stay healthy on those picket lines, Wong added. And I just thought that was so neat. The article is really long and y'all can read that more. But that is, like, so nice. You know, these people are already on strike. So chances are they are not getting, I don't think I know any people who do get paid while they're on strike. So chances are they are not getting paid. And I'm sure that a lot of these people either have had a hard time eating throughout the week or getting groceries throughout the week, paying their bills, that kind of stuff. And so the fact that these people are planning to give these writers, artists, anyone who belongs to these unions some free food, I think that is amazing. I think there should be more people like this, and I'm glad that there's people helping people out there. And I hope this works out for them. And I hope that things just keep working out for every one of them, whether it's the producers or the companies who are doing these movies and paying them what they deserve and that kind of stuff. I feel like sometimes these strikes, like, a lot of people are like, oh, it's worthless, that kind of stuff. But sometimes I do get it that it might be a little worthless, but sometimes I think, like, some of them do have, like, a good backbone to them, and, like, I would understand why they're fighting, to entertain a whole world. Like, you think that would be getting paid more than what they do get paid, like, people are always watching something, and I think that is just fabulous if you can do the job that makes people want to watch something, So I'm really happy that these people got some food and to be able to stay healthy and saved and not starve. I think that is great. So I hope these people keep doing this out there. And I hope these strikes soon come to an end. Right? So that is all for our show today. Thank you for being here. And I hope y'all have a great weekend. And let's see what next Monday awaits for us. Alright. Bye, guys. See y'all next Monday.